Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to bring you two cards today made by stamping, don't know if you can see that, just half a sheet of cardstock, and then I created two cards with it. So I made this for a blog hop, which was mixing the old with the new. So I just got out lots and lots of new stamp sets. I've used some our new masks as well, and then some old things, and I got out some embossing folders, a punch, and some other stamp sets to create these cards. So I've done this in the neutrals, so I thought I might brighten this one up and do it in brighter colours, and I might sort of mix some colour families, just picking out nicer colours. I kind of want to go sort of Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, maybe a bit of Pool Party and Pacific Point in there. So I'm going to have a blue day, I think. That's where I'm going. So let me show you how I did it. So these are the full colours I thought I might use. So I've got Coastal Cabana, Pool Party, Mit Macaron and Bermuda Bay. I thought they might go quite well together. Definitely those work really well. Not 100% certain about that one. So I could just work with three colours. Not 100% on that one. So this is me just having a go as we go along. And the stamp sets that I'm using, I've got things mounted up. So I used the Thanks from Hand Penned. I really liked it, the way it went with the sort of vintage style. I've used this script here from Very Versailles. I stamped the butterfly here from Positive Thoughts. So they're the old, and then the new is, I didn't use any of that in the end, but I did use the little flower there, the leaf. So I used that, and I think I used these little leaves as well. Oh, another old, I used those dots there. And then another new, I used this lovely swirl, and it was kind of that I used to create the sort of basic shape and foundation. Sorry, you got a bit of glare there. Okay, and I used the new masks, which are these butterflies and flowers, which I sort of masked on top. So I used the flower one. Let's get it out. So I used this one. So it's a two-step. Can't see it there, can you? It's a two-step masking technique. And then I did some embossing, and I used these have carried over from the Christmas mini. So I've got Tight Worn and I've got Bark. Kind of liked the way that they looked. So let's get started. So I'm using basic white for this one. I used Very Vanilla in the other one, but I'm going to use basic white on this one. So I just cut half a sheet and then sort of trimmed it down afterwards. And whilst we're about it, I'm going to cut these ready for the mats. So I'm going for my usual mat size, which is 1/4 of an inch shorter and thinner, so it gives you a nice 1/8 of an inch mat all the way round. And this will be the same size as I'll cut this down to when it's eventually done. Always find that useful for a sentiment. That's useful if you need a little bit of a handle when you're punching, which we might need a little bit later. So I'm going to put those to one side. I don't know what colour yet I want for the card base. Don't know that until it's all stamped and see which colour is crying out to me. Okay, so I need to start with the swirl, which is the only one that's not mounted, it would seem. So here's the swirl. So you've got to rest it down on your stamp mat before you pick it up, because and then pick it up like this, because if you do it the other way, that's not going to work. I need this one. That one can go on there. You can distort the shape if you don't do it like this. Okay, so that's the way we do it. Now on this one, I stamped it with early espresso, and I felt actually it dominated. So I'm going to go for not the darkest colour. I'm going to go for a lighter colour. If I was making this again, I'd probably stamp it in soft suede so it went back into the background a bit more. It's kind of coming out too much, I feel. So of the colours, Bermuda Bay is the darkest, so I think I might go for Coastal Cabana. Look how close Coastal Cabana and Mint Macaron look. So I'm going for that. It's photopolymer, so I'm going to pull in my stamp mat to stamp on. So I'm looking at that, it's coming over the bottom a little bit. See, if you place it on yourself, you might distort it a bit, which is why you put it down and then pick it up. And now I've gone to, I need my glasses, don't I? What am I like? There, I've done it now. So this is a big stamp, so I like to take the stamp pad to the stamp, like so, and then I just sort of, I'm kind of going to sit that up there so I know what I'm doing. I sort of visualised where the middle of it is. I can kind of see the middle line there, and just stamp one down like so. There we go. I do love this swirl. I love it, love it, love it. And then I'll go like that. So I'm creating that sort of shape. And then, if you heard that ping, I'm doing a virtual scrapbooking class later today, and that's me like Facebook telling me it starts in an hour, and I've got my phone to remind me. 15 minutes, that can't be right. Is it really 1 o'clock? Surely not. Surely not. Maybe it is. So, and then I'm going to come up here like so. I might even, you can do anything you want, it's your design. I might even do some swirly bits at the bottom. Kind of. Yeah, I might go like that. It's great that you can kind of see through, not kind of, you can see through, and help you make some decisions. So that was my basic design that I was doing. So that needs a bit of a bit of a wash now before I put anything in it. So I'm going to get my stamp and scrub, give it a wet and give it a wash. And then I've got all the other stamps all mounted, ready to use. So I kind of, let's stick a few dots around. I don't need this now. I might need it a bit in a minute with some more photopolymer. So let's put some dots with something lighter. Let's go with Pool Party. Oh, I did this not so long ago. I've like sprayed it with water from a Stamp and Scrub, but actually on this card it doesn't matter. I actually made a whole new one when I did this before. But as I'm now stamping dots, I don't think it matters. So let's put some dots all over. So it's just random, not thinking about it. Just creating some nice patterns. So that's that. Let's have a bit of Bermuda Bay. And I've got this flower mounted. So I'm going to stick that around it. So I kind of went for in the middle of these big swirls. When I stuck this on. I love Bermuda Bay. Such a pretty colour. There we go. And then I've got these leaves. Let's go with some Pool Party. Just not thinking about it, just adding what I want, where I want. Because just creating different patterns. All right, and now I want to put some script. I might go over with some, that's the right way up. So I'm gonna ink that up. Might need re-inking this. And I'm gonna take this, take the paper to there so that you're not getting the full impression, you're just getting little bits of an impression around. Which does work really well when you're making sort of vintage looking things, but I am totally going away from type here by using brighter colours, but I don't see why that won't work. Might put a bit more ink on there. I think I've used it all up. So kind of look, I want some there, putting my finger on the back where that space is, and then I can push there, and then I get the mark there where I want it. Want a bit in that corner. Excuse me. I want a bit up there. And a bit down here. Not a lot came out there. I think I used a bit where I'd stamped before. There we go. little bit there. So I love the randomness of that. I think it's really cool. Can you see? Some of it's not straight, doesn't really matter. So that's that. I've got these things, and I've got a butterfly, which I'm going to put on the back of that. What colour shall I use now? I want that quite light, so I might stamp off. I might do Coastal Cabana. I might stamp off. Well, I might stamp off 3 times. Yeah. At this stage, I don't know what orientation the card's gonna end up. I might put that going off the side there, like that. And then I've got these little things here. Oh, let's have me stamp mat for this. So stamp off, stamp on. I'm not thinking at all. Just stamping, making a mess. But quite like that. Just not really thinking very much about what you're doing. So that's that. So then I came in with the mask and did a bit of masking on here. Come off my stamp mat now, and I think I'm gonna go up there, and obviously I put washi tape on there so I knew which side I'd inked on. So I think I'm going to do that one, and I'm doing the thicker one first because I found it easier to line up with the thick. So this is the one that you do in the darker colour, and this is the one you do in the lighter colour. Well, that's what I found anyway. So darker colour, I think we might do Coastal Cabana and Pool Party. So we'll do Coastal Cabana. I think I've got a blending brush that is sort of blues. Yeah, I think that. I washed it recently, so I think that's okay. So going round in that. Just going round in circles. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we are. And then I might go up here. I might just do a little bit coming down there. There we are. Got a bit of a line going on there. Not so bothered. Not so bothered, but it is something to be careful of. Okay, so now I want to do Pool Party. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm just brushing that off a little tad. So now I'm going to be lining them up, and you've got little dots in the middle of these flowers, and that's what you use to line it up. You kind of find the dots to line them up. It's that way. There we go. Actually, I don't want that there. Stick it down here. Smallest piece of scrappy washi tape you've ever seen. There we go. And then just going round that bit. And see what we get. There we go. And then we'll go down here, finding those middle dots. So that lined up perfectly because that's the one that I'd previously done, you Burke. There we go. That'll work. And then I also noticed like these kind of line up, those sort of tops of hearts. There we go. Doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It's one of them cards. There we go. And then we'll do this one. Finding those dots. There we go. So that's that. And then I kind of did a little bit in the background as well. So I've got the big leafy one. Just checking there's no colour on the back. And sort of did a bit of leafing. Is that a word? It is now. In the background, so I might do some mint macaron. For that. And just Oh. Just very gently, I only want a little hint, like so. So going up and down on this is better because it does move slightly. Sticking it down would probably be okay, or better I should say, but hey ho, I didn't. So there we go. So we've only got a slight hint of that there in the background. So I'm going to call that done-ish for now. And so now what I want to do is I want to cut it into card blank shape so that I can, or size, so that I can emboss. So I'm just going to cut that in half so that we've got two like that now. And I'm going to take my two embossing folders, and there I'm going to do one. I think I'm going to do that one where we've got more space in type worn, and then the bark in that one. So I'm going to get those embossed. So there they are, embossed. So that's the one with the bark. I do love that embossing folder. And then we've got the one with type worn. It's probably one of my favourites. So I'm going to now come back in and do a little bit of inking. Not sure if there's enough ink left on that. Might ink a bit more. Might go a bit Coastal Cabana-y. And that should just pick up a little bit on where that embossing's been. And also I'm coming in round the edges, so the edges are getting a little bit of an ink, which I want. So that's that one, and then we'll do the same on this one. Just going gently over the centre there to pick up on that typed bit. So that's them. I think I need a little bit more better inked around there. Coastal Cabana is a bright jazz. I was just trying to think what colour family have I got so I get the right sponge dauber. Brights. Coastal Cabana. Ah. Oh, I'm doing this. I need to trim it down first. Need to trim it down because it's exactly a quarter size. So I'm going to take a bit off this. I might take a bit off the bottom so that is actually okay. So take that bit off the bottom there. And yeah, I'll take a bit off that side there. I could double mat this. I may yet. Here. A bit off that side. Come up on the bottom. Still haven't decided what orientation this is going in. So just go around. My thumb's a bit better now. Those of you who've watched recently filmed, well, it was the last video I filmed, I was wearing a support because my thumb joint was really sore. Well, I wore it for a few days, so resting it seemed to work. There we go. So that's that. So now I've got to decide what colour to do. So I think I'm either going to go Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana. Have I got some already cut up there? No. So I'm going to get those out. So I've done my card blank. So I've got a Coastal Cabana and a Bermuda Bay. And, well, I like them both really, so I might do one of each. So, yeah. So now it's a matter of deciding how I want the cards. I could do them like I did before. I did them both that way up and put the sentiment up there. Or I could turn one on the side. I could turn them both on the side, because things have been quite randomly stamped on there. So, although with this one, maybe with the type worn, that maybe needs to be better that way up. This one, because it had bark on it, could be any way up. I might do them that way. So the sentiment backing that I used, I got by using this elegant tag punch. I'm not sure what it's called, but you can see it's quite different, and that's because I stamped it, I punched it on both sides, and it fits beautifully, that thanks stamp as well. So I need a scrap of basic white. Get my scraps here. There, that one would work. So I'm hoping I'll get them both out of this. So I punched it. You don't have to go all the way to the end because you're making it smaller. So punched. I punched before I stamped because it's photopolymer and I can see through it. And then I stuck it back in, kind of held that and matched it up. So the two sides are against there, making sure that where my end is, it's actually going into the punch okay. Because I've moved it, it's now not playing. There we go. And then just stamp, punched again, and that gives that shape there. So I'll do it again. So punched it, Right, so well, that's punched it all. Didn't need to do that. Fed it back in. Found it easier to feed it in sideways. And then decide how big you want it. That'll do. And there we go. That is how I got that lovely shape. Just gonna pull these off because that is a big enough scrap for something else. I'll chuck those there. And then I'm gonna stamp the thanks. I'll stamp one in Bermuda Bay and one in Coastal Cabana so they match the card base, I think. So I'm going to go Coastal Cabana first because it's lightest. And I think the sort of handwritten look of this thanks works really well with the style of card. And I say it's photopolymer so I can see through, and just stamp it down like so. And now I'm going to do the other one, so I'm going to put that with that one. This with this one. Didn't give myself quite so much space on this one, but it doesn't matter. There we go. That one goes nicely with that one. And then I did do a little bit of inking around the edges. I should still have a bit of ink left on this. I do. Just top on the bottom and come in the sides a little bit. And then I just tied a little bit of twine around the top prong. There we go. I might just use the sponge dauber a little bit. Emphasize that a little bit more. Isn't it amazing how a different colour changes everything? Okay, so on these ones, I used a bit of get it right in a minute. Linen thread. On this one, I haven't got any. What's the colours in the new twine? They're not right, are they? No, they're not right. Okay, it was just a thought. So I could use white and colour it, or I could just use white. Let's have a little gander at how white might work. And if not, I can use my blends to colour. I'm sure I've got Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana. Bermuda Bay is one of my favourite colours, so I'm sure I've got it in the blends. Can't see my blends right now. I've got something stuck in front of them. So yeah, just tie a bow around that sticky up bit. Audition it there. Well, I think it does work. I think it might look better if it was darker. So yeah. No, that is. Let me find me the right colour. Right, so I've got Bermuda Bay, dark and light, so I reckon I could use the light on the Coastal Cabana one and the dark on the Bermuda Bay one. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I know I need sort of that much for tying a boat. So let's undo it. So what have we got there? About 7 and a bit inches. Probably about 16 or 17 centimetres there. That was a very quick conversion because I know that 6 inches is 15 centimetres, just because that's what your little rulers are. So there we go. I'm going to just use my blend. To colour that. Do kind of move around, but I don't mind it being a little bit uneven, to be fair. Right, I'm going to check that out before I colour the other one. Right, it's alcohol, it should dry quite quickly. That'll do. So start with a little knot off. Poke that in there. Tighten your knot at 90 degrees to where you want the bow to sit. And then it should sit where you want it. Poke you down there. There we go. It is more thread than you need, but you need more thread or twine than you need in order to be able to actually tie the bow, because otherwise it's really difficult to tie. Yeah, I think it looks better coloured, doesn't it? Pops a little bit better. So we'll colour that one with the light Coastal Cabana. I mean Bermuda Bay, to kind of get a lighter shade. I'm on a schedule, got a meeting at 2. Excuse me. Right, so we'll leave that to dry a sec whilst I finish this one off. So we're going to trim the ends. Like so. So let's get this stuck down. Got my Tombow. And then I pop this up on some dimensionals. just snipped some of these bits, took 3, and I'll put one at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. There we go. And then get them tops off. These little hexagons make it all around the house. See where we want it. Get it straight. No, go in there with it. There we go. And then do exactly the same with this one. Okay, so there they are, both done. So then we just need the mat on the inside. I don't know if you can see, I did a little bit of inking. It's quite subtle. So I took my mat, which I had to cut 2 more. I'm sure I cut 2 right at the beginning of this video, ready to go in, but could I find them? Not a chance. So Coastal Cabana here. So I just went round the edges with a bit of Coastal Cabana just to give it a little bit of colour, because I think when you've got that much sort of inking going on the front, it's nice to carry it through. So I just put a little bit extra on the corners. I think this one's come out a little bit darker than the other one, which is absolutely fine. So then we just need to stick that down, and that is us done. Bit of Tombow. Just give that a little go into place, and there we have it. So I just think that little bit of inking on the inside gives it a little bit of something. So let's just give that another crease. Maybe the reason why that doesn't look so is that one's the same colour, whereas that one I did use Coastal Cabana. Maybe it would show up more if I'd have used Bermuda Bay. So there we have it in the blues, and there we have it in the neutrals. So this looks nice and fresh, and this looks nice and shabby chicy vintage, what have you. So yep, hope you like that. Hope you will give me a like and subscribe if you don't already. Check out my blog. Check out the blog hop. See what everybody else has done. And yeah, I hope you've picked up some ideas there, especially this using the punch. It was an accident that paid off. Okay, bye for now. I'll link to everything down below that I have used in the making of these cards.